Hey yo prodigies, big spoiler warning because in this video we are going to look over the achievements for Bendy Chapter 4, so if you have not played Bendy Chapter 4 yet, or if you're watching this prior to the release of Bendy Chapter 4, you might want to stop here. Let's get into it. The prodigies overwhelmingly wanted me to cover these achievements, so I will be analysing them one by one in reverse order of the list that I got them in. A big thank you to all of the prodigies who sent me this list, especially Don't Sue Me on Twitter who sent me the cleanest looking list that I'm going to go through right now. We will be going through 14 achievements. First we've got Just Like Mum Used to Make. Now it's got a picture of a piece of bacon there, and the description for it is, collect all the bacon soup in Chapter 4. Nothing entirely exciting happening here. We probably knew this achievement was coming. If you collect all of the bacon soup in a chapter, you get an achievement for it. It's essentially a collectionist achievement, so those of you who like to hunt for items will enjoy this achievement. Next up we have the achievement Around and Around. This achievement has the description Defeat Bertram, and I've seen a lot of confusion already over who this Bertram character is. Yes, it does seem that there will be new characters in Chapter 4, which is awesome because we get to see new faces throughout Joey Drew's studio, and we get to come across new foes, it seems. As for who Bertram actually is, it looks like there might be a connection between this character Bertram and the icon. The icon appears to be some kind of pommel horse, or one of the seats that you would take in a carousel ride, which is giving me the vibe that Bertram could be an artificial horse, or a cartoon horse that we have to face, or that Bertram is related to one of the rides that we may see in Joey Drew's studio. And if in fact our previous suspicions are correct, then Joey Drew may have actually been trying to create a carnival within his studio. Some prodigies have been saying that Bertram is a searcher, and that very well could be. It's a very odd name, but we haven't really had any special names for the searchers to date. If anything, this could be something like a battle with an ink worker, kind of like we did with the projectionist. Next achievement is Wasting Time, and the achievement description is Ring the Bell. So it looks like we'll come across some sort of bell that we'll have to hit with a mallet, judging from the icon symbol that we can see there. These icons are giving me more and more of a vibe that there will be a carnival at Joey Drew's studio, which we didn't really have much of a strong confirmation for before. We only had suspicions for it. So this is kind of exciting. We're getting a very festive feel in Chapter 4, and that would give the perfect combination of creepiness and fun as we have to walk through an amusement park, but we're also sort of fearing for our lives as well, vicariously through Henry. The next achievement is Unlikely Victory. It's got an icon of a question mark, and it says complete Chapter 4 with the plunger. So clearly Chapter 4 is going to be one of the more difficult chapters, and we're going to have an arsenal of weapons at our disposal. We may get to switch between them judging from this achievement, and one of those weapons, the plunger, is either a novelty or it's extremely weak. And what I remember from Chapter 3 when we did errands for Alice Angel, the plunger was the weakest one out of the ones that we were given. Of course, the strongest being the Tommy gun. Next up is a special hat. It has the icon of a hat, and the description is Run into Jack Fane. Again, we have another character that everybody is scrambling around to find out who this actually is, and there's actually very interesting evidence as to who this could be. So if you'll remember in my Chapter 2 remaster video analysis, I pointed out a room where there was a message about singing, and in front of the wall that was written on, there was a giant searcher wearing a hat. That hat closely resembles what we can see here in this icon, so many people think that this swollen searcher, this giant searcher, whatever you want to call it, is actually Jack Fane. I think that's a really, really good guess. Another way this could be related is that Swollen Searcher is just wearing the hat of Jack Fane. Jack Fane could be an ink worker, maybe even a human being that we run into, but my bet would be closer to an ink worker who we have to collect a hat for to make them happy again. Though I must admit it would be pretty cute if one of the searchers were actually given the name Jack Fane. Then there is an achievement called A Little Souvenir. The description for it is take a photo at the photo cutout, and it has an icon of a Polaroid photo frame, it seems. Again, another fun little achievement here that suggests at the carnival nature of Chapter 4, we're all probably very familiar with photo booths in arcades, amusement areas, and probably even malls. You might find a photo booth these days. The wording of this description actually takes me back to the older days when photos actually had to be taken out in the open or in a big area, and amusement parks, carnivals, attractions, what have you, would have huge cutouts set up where you could poke your head through a cardboard setup and take some sort of neat novelty photo. With this achievement, it looks like we'll get exactly that and be able to take a photo in a novelty cutout. What will the cutouts be though? I want to hear your thoughts on this because there could be a range of iconic scenes. Some we may not have seen yet in the new Bendy cartoons, but some in the old Bendy cartoons, such as Bendy being scared by Boris, in both Tombstone Picnic and Snow Sillies, Bendy getting scared by a skeleton, something involving Alice Angel. Again, we haven't seen the new cartoon yet, and it might include Alice Angel, and the devs have hinted towards Alice Angel being in the next new Bendy animation. Another cool scene will be Bendy actually squirting sauce in Boris's face. Whatever happens, I'm interested to see how the photo will actually turn out, because remember, we haven't seen Henry's face at all throughout the entire series, so this might just be our chance to see Henry's face, unless he puts on some sort of mask or mascot head. And I really wouldn't put it past the devs to do something like this to keep up the mystery of Henry's actual appearance. But then again, they could give us a moment kind of like in another game called Soma, where you couldn't see the main character's face at all until one scene where you look into a mirror and the appearance will shock you. I won't spoil that game, it's an awesome game. So perhaps we'll get a moment just like that in Chapter 4, and Henry might be in for quite a surprise. A lot of people are saying that he's in the process of becoming a cartoon or an ink worker because he collapsed on the pentagram in Chapter 1, so that's something that we may potentially see through this achievement. And the cherry on the cake is we get a badge on our Steam profiles to prove that we did it. The next achievement is A Haunting We Will Go, and it has the description, restore power to the haunted house with an icon kinda looking like a Bendy sad face. This is a really awesome achievement and really nails down the carnival theme of Chapter 4. I really think we're going to get a carnival sort of area in Chapter 4 now. This achievement really makes it feel legit, along with all the other ones we've had so far, with Ring the Bell, which resembles one of those strength games where you have to do one of those tests of strength with a mallet, hit a pressure pad and make a puck go up and hit a bell, around and around with the carousel-like item, and the souvenir achievement that we just covered. What is the haunted house? Well, you may remember in the Chapter 4 trailer, we ended up in some sort of roller coaster / minecart where we traveled on a track in a dark place that had ghosts and scary eyes jump scaring us all over the place. It looks similar to haunted house amusement park rides, where the purpose is to travel through a scary themed area to test your mettle and hopefully get through bravely. Ah yes, I can already feel the jump scares coming. Bullseye is up next. The description is get a perfect score on Bullseye Bonanza, and it's got a picture of a target there. I see this as either another carnival-like attraction where you throw a ball at a target, or where you get to shoot a target. Whatever it ends up being in this case, if we get several bullseyes, we get a perfect score, and thus this achievement. Maybe we even get a prize. If it mimics carnival attractions in the real world, maybe we'll get something like an Alice plush if Alice is still in control of things, or a Bendy plush if we come into contact with Sammy Lawrence. It might also be to get a better weapon in the game. I'm pretty hyped for this achievement. If anything, it'll be fun to play this. Next up is Barbecued. The description is visit the Meatly, so it looks like the Meatly, who in the last chapter held a tea party for us, is now holding a barbecue for us, and I cannot wait to see the Meatly with his smug expression in a barbecue outfit. That is gonna be awesome. The Meatly with a little chef's hat and a chef's apron, holding a huge metal fork, barbecuing some meats and vegetables. It's gonna be a sight to see. Paul the Milkman is next, which we get for getting a perfect score on Bottle Wallop. It's got a picture of a milk bottle there, and it looks like another carnival attraction achievement, with a challenge to throw a ball at some bottles or maybe shoot a bottle down. Maybe we get to throw bacon soup cans at these things, and hopefully get an awesome prize at the end of it, other than the achievement itself, of course. Another thing I'm thinking here is these attractions might be something that we need to achieve in order to keep our lives. So if we succeed in getting a perfect score in these activities, we might be able to pass through the studio safely and healthily, up until a point of course. Given that these are achievements, these are probably some big challenges. And if we fail, we might have to fight a whole bunch of searchers or butcher gang members or whoever this Bertram character is. Perhaps. And I'm only saying that because if it's an ink worker, usually the workers at the studio had a first name and a last name, except for Henry, of course. And for everybody who's going to point out Linda, it's not even confirmed that she's a worker, and at this point it doesn't really look like she's a worker, so I'm not really going to go there. But yes, if we fail at these, we might have to fight a bigger boss, a bigger threat. I'm really hoping that these achievements earn us some kind of better items. Next is Finger Wagon with the icon of a radio, and the description is, of course, finding the radio in Chapter 4. So we will be able to hear some awesome new Bendy music in the next chapter. Maybe it's going to be from another creator we're familiar with. We're gonna have to wait and see on that one. Going to be Sick has the description, go for a wild ride, and it's got a picture of lights hanging from a rope. This is actually really exciting because this reminds me a lot of the ending of Mulan. Spoiler alert for Mulan, by the way, but if this is the case, then Henry might actually slide down there, kind of like Mulan did at the end of Mulan. Considering that we have to journey deeper into the studio, there's probably going to be some kind of abyssal area that he'll need to use these lights to travel down into, as naturally things will get steeper in the studio. I'm just thinking now because my first interpretation of this is going to be sick, as in this is going to be fun, but it could also mean Henry himself is going to be sick at the end of traveling down these lights. Either way, I think Henry's going to be okay after falling several flights of stairs in Chapter 1, which could actually be updated in the remastered. Still Listening is next, another achievement dedicated to listening to all of the audio logs, this time just in Chapter 4. I'm so excited to hear about the new lore that we're going to find out in these audio logs. Oh my goodness, last but not least, Reunited found Boris, with a picture of Boris's head there. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. The moment where we finally get to find our precious Floopy Snoot. But will he be alive or will he be dead? That is something that this achievement does not tell us. And it's not even inherently clear in the icon that we can see here. Is Boris up, alert, and energetic, or is he lying down and fading from us? Of course, we all know what I'm hoping, but that doesn't eliminate the ambiguity of this achievement. Finding Boris could be something that makes us very happy, or on the other hand, it could give us some severe Doki Doki Literature Club PTSD. Rest in peace, Sayori fans out there. Rest in peace. Now, given what we've all been through with Boris and the title of this achievement, which is Reunited, we've seen them friendly, and we know from the Chapter 4 trailer that Henry is going out of his way to find Boris. He actually said so in the official trailer, so there is a strong connection between Boris and Henry there, and it would be heart-wrenching if we were to find Boris dead. It's looking like Chapter 4 is going to give us more context behind Henry's secret recording in Chapter 3, where he talks about each cartoon character that he drew that he thought everybody was going to love. But we still have to factor in Bendy, Alice, the Butcher Gang, and a possible new character in the cartoons. For now, you could tap this video to find out who it could be, or check out these videos which were picked just for you. If you're new, remember to subscribe and tap that bell for more Bendy and horror game theories that actually make sense. And Prodigies, I hope these videos help to expand on how you think. See ya!